Hello, it's nice to meet you. I'm Samuel Popter, and I'll be speaking to you today about StreetSmart brand. StreetSmart brand is a high-fashion, high-tech company. So, the problem I'm here to discuss is that anyone can lose an item, anyone can have all sorts of advantages to their certain wearable technology or situation that might make their life a little bit easier, more trackable, more functional, more ergonomic. So, I believe that everyone should have the opportunity to implement technologies such as Bluetooth technologies, tracking, graphical data, anything into clothing. So instead of having a purpose, buying it, you buy it like it would normally be an article of clothing. So the opportunity. Wearable technology currently is sold as a purpose. It's sold solely as the technology they're buying it as. I see Nike bands, I see Under Armour bands, and they're sold so you can track your data, so you can really get a hold of how active you actually are, and how your heart rate is, how your physical health is. But they're not sold so you want to buy them for their fashion statement, for their wearability. You buy them for a purpose. So I see that wearable tech is only going in one direction currently. It's going in the technology purposeful. It's purposely being bought as technology. So, movement. My partner, Aldo Bikiraj, that you just met, he partnered up with me, and I will be implementing Bringer Technologies, the first technology, into my high fashion clothing. So I'll be making blazers, smoking jackets, pea coats, purses, wallets, and I really want to put this put this technology in there inside of a tag. And the real idea behind it is that you will be able to see that you can actually find any sort of item that you may have lost. You can reach any of your tags. You can reach any of your jacket if you leave it at a coat check. If your girlfriend keeps taking all your favorite jackets, or you left your wallet at a friend's house, you can always use the application to find it. And then you think, what is so awesome about this? I find that you not only can find your jacket, you can find all of your tagged items, but you can also add other technologies based off the accelerometer and other sorts of gadgets that we will be implementing into this tag. And the idea behind it is that if you lose your phone, not just your jacket, you lose your phone, you lose a tagged item, you can just press a button on the jacket that you're wearing, and your phone rings. And the bartender on the other side of the bar looks at you and says, "Hey, is this anybody's?" And you're found. So, my required resources. Right now, I'm currently in the process of designing high-end jackets with faux fur on the inside, blazers with really extensive liners, and the main idea is to make a high-fashion icon while implementing technology. So the people who really want to spend their money on clothing get their money's worth. And they're not just doing it because it has technology, they're doing it because it looks awesome. So what will I be using this money for? What do I need it for? Well, right now I'm making patterns. I'm working with a pattern maker in Dorchester, Massachusetts, and he's currently doing all of the blueprint work to send to manufacturers to have my clothing implemented. So I really am trying to have my clothing made nevertheless of this competition. It will exist and we will start the movement. So the biggest thing that I really am trying to say is that I want wearable tech to be used by everyone. It needs to be a movement for society. Everyone should actually be using wearable technology. And I'm from Chelmsford, Massachusetts. I've hung out in Lowell my entire life, and I deeply believe that if this becomes a movement, I will start a technological textile revolution. So, my mission. My mission is to implement wearable technology in seamless ways that people will wear comfortably, people will want to wear. And the whole idea behind it is that we can implement other technologies that aren't just beacon-based technologies like Bringer. They are also graphical data where you can see how far you've traveled, where you've been, you can mark your locations. I mean, we could coin up with companies like Coin and have your identification and your cards and everything matched with this. So instead of having to have your credit card or your ID checked, it comes up with a picture when they scan your jacket. We want to implement posture technology in the top tag of your jacket so you can graphically see how well you're standing. So when you're in a business meeting, everyone knows that you're confident about what you're speaking about. So my biggest thing is I really believe that if we implement technology into clothing, everyone will want to wear it. So this was my favorite quote I've ever been involved with. I had a few of my friends and we all got together and we were trying to discuss the image of our clothing. And I found that StreetSmart, it's my favorite catchphrase. My friends have always joked around with me because I love communicating. I love communicating ideas and I love the spread of information and technology. And we found that StreetSmart clothing will be the way of the future. We will start a wearable technological revolution because it's not just technology you're wearing. You're wearing something that you want to wear, something that you bought because it looks awesome. It just happens to be unlosable. Thank you for your time.
Well done.
Good pitch. Yes. Passionate.
Yeah. This is what I love to do. It's all really come together. I've had two of my best friends all over here. Actually, my partner Stephen Mars outside really just saw my vision, and they just pushed me to just do what I love to do and not let anything stop me.
So, first question for me is outside of find my code with my phone, or find my phone with my code.
Yeah.
What other things can you do?
You can track your distance, like you've traveled in one day, because each time you move via your Bluetooth location, it checks in with your phone. You can do check-in points, and we're also going to implement like miles per hour. You know how actually your speed is, how fast you're actually moving. And with the accelerometer, we're really researching right now to implement a tag, not only in somewhere that's reachable and usable, somewhere that's on your back and on your spine that can recognize your posture. So that's our next step in technology.
Yeah, I think you need to have a niche because the things you just mentioned, there are several companies doing that now. You know that. So your niche is at wearable technology, but I think you have to expand beyond, as the question was asked, not just pieces of clothing. So can you factor that out or scale that out?
Like technologically or clothing-wise?
Clothing-wise.
Clothing-wise. So what I really want to make is strictly outerwear. I want to make wallets, purses, blazers, smoking jackets, winter track jackets, winter coats, leather jackets, pea coats. Really like high-end, fashionable clothing. I've been doing a lot of research towards companies like Marc Jacobs, Gucci, and I see the level of clothing, the level of standards that they hold when they create things. And I really want to base that around what I'm actually trying to design, because people don't need technology in their clothing. It's something that people have to want and have to want to brag about. So when you buy a really nice jacket, a really nice article of clothing, or a really nice wallet, and you have this really awesome ability because of it, it's something worth speaking about. It's something worth spreading. It's something worth expanding.
It's really getting into the textiles business as opposed to the technology business, because it's going to cost you a whole lot more to do the textiles, I would think, than the technology.
It really is currently. It's funny how actually having the patterns, the blueprints for the clothing made is actually more expensive than having any sort of sample made whatsoever. It's been a really interesting process meeting all the pattern makers and a few manufacturers in the Boston area, because we're really trying to do American-made, local, all of that.
What keeps us, like, say you have the breaker technology, what stops me from wearing my own jacket, putting the breaker tag on the jacket? Yeah, just I try to differentiate the.
So the signature way we're going to integrate it into our jackets is we're going to have a leather tag that will have our logo, which is the shirt. Screen printed shirt. When I was younger, I did a lot of screen printing with my friends. So I want to brand the logo into the leather, and where the center of the bomb is, the Math Vortex symbol, you press and it will make your phone ring. So it's already there, it's not losable, it's sewn in, and the technology is just right here. So it's something recognizable, it's something branded, so when you were to unbutton your shirt, or when you were to zip up your jacket, you always grab the leather tag, you always recognize its existence. So the difference between it is that it's there. It's something, you bought the jacket because it's awesome. You didn't buy the jacket necessarily because it's technologically able. It's something that either the salesman or this man in the store or something, oh, you like this jacket? Well, you really gonna like this jacket when I tell you that it's unlosable and it'll keep you from losing your phone. And for me, I'll be like, oh, well, I'm gonna buy it for my girlfriend because she just happens to always lose her phone and we can never get out of the house in time to go to dinner.
So there's a lot of competitors in fashion. There's a lot of brands that people buy because it's the brand.
Absolutely.
Building a fashion brand is hard. Sometimes, a lot of times it takes some kind of star effect.
Yep.
So that's a pretty huge challenge. How do you overcome that? So it's nice that the technology's in there. But is that central to your fashion brand, or is that? So does everything we do have the tag in it?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
And as you add more technology, add different types of technology, would it make sense to say license brand, go to Polo and say I'll license Street Smart you know, so you can street smart inside. Is that part of your business, or do you want us to keep it to?
It depends on where we take the technology. If we were to implement the posture tech and say a company like Polo or some Ralph Lauren would come up with us and say, hey, we really appreciate your idea, we like the direction that you're moving in, and we'd like to work with you, then the opportunity is there. But at this point in time, I really want to build up this fashion icon. I'm currently designing these very intricate articles of clothing, these jackets that have these faux fur and this really bizarre looking pockets on the inside. And I'm really trying to focus on the detail aspect of everything, because I find that a jacket that really has a nice outside doesn't always have to have an awesome inside. So I really want it to be standoutish when you're in the store.
Okay. So more than technology, what qualifies you to be a fashion designer?
What qualifies me to be a fashion designer, besides the fact that I'm the pickiest shopper in the whole world? Because I'm willing to understand what people like, because I want to take the next step in researching. I like talking to my friends, I like talking to people, I like looking up and seeing why people wear what they wear. I see all these runway models wearing these bizarre articles of clothing, these all over prints and these flowers, and I'm so blown away because I'm such a minimalist person, and I realize that everyone has a different taste, and fashion is one of the most universally communicable representations of how we actually feel about ourselves. So I feel that through fashion, I can really begin to understand, each individual demographic of people, and kind of expand my horizons. And I really feel that I have that ability.
Okay. Did you say something about being made in USA?
Yes.
Tell me more.
So I'm talking to a few manufacturers right now. My pattern maker, like I said, is from Dorchester. I'm communicating with a manufacturer in San Francisco currently, and we're gonna have that manufacture our clothing once we have our samples made. And I really feel that it's important to not outsource, to not push everything overseas, because that's what we're continually doing. It's not helping American GDP. It's not providing jobs for the job market. It's not providing consumer markets. And I mean, especially a company like a wearable tech company. I mean, all these manufacturers, all these pattern makers, they've never had any business with wearable tech companies before. So technically, I'm providing a new job market for them and a new consumer market for the economy, contributing to furthering the American GDP amount. So I feel that there is a place in the American economy for us, because it doesn't exist yet.
You do know why people move old textiles to Asia?
Absolutely. The price margin is absolute. It's pretty intense. Especially from a college student's perspective.
But you're chasing the high end of it, so it's less cluttered than the low end, the wallet, but still expensive to get into.
Yep.
And it's an absolutely brutal business. You know that.
Well, it was difficult to understand what kind of demographic would want to buy technology inside of their clothing. So I really found that the people who actually look into what they're wearing and look into what they're buying have some sort of, either they're looking at it and they see it's a pretty minimalistic purse that says Gucci on it, it says Prada. I need this. But there's also the other side where the people who see these high-end companies, they say, why is this expensive? Why is this worth the money? I look at it and say, well, Gucci's expensive because it's all made in Italy. It's like, why wouldn't you want, a small manufacturing plant in Italy to make your clothing, knowing that some man has put his heart and soul in it? So, in reality, I feel that if we were to push this in our own direction with technology and say, this is why it's worth it, because we put all the effort that everyone else does in their clothing, in their design phase, in their manufacturing process, and we add technology that we're constantly innovating on, we're something worth following. We're not just a fashion icon that's releasing new cool clothes every year. We're innovating every year.
Well, you wouldn't mind being that fashion icon.
Oh, I wouldn't mind at all.
Yes.
I mean, that would,
No, I just, so if you can't, if the perceived value of that added technology isn't, worth what you're putting into it, you're still going to chase the fashion side.
I want to do it both ways. I'm going to be. Nevertheless, I will be implementing technology into my clothing, no matter what. I actually have already going to be receiving a large quantity of Bringer technology to sew into these leather tags within the next few months. So, no matter what, I will be releasing it this way. And I want to be in the high fashion industry because those are the people who will start pushing wearable technology. Those are the people who will want to buy it. I mean,
But going back, I don't know who said it, but isn't the easier path just, you have a patent on the Bringer, more or less, and making the tag and selling it,
absolutely,
and licensing it to everybody else?
Absolutely, that is the easier path.
But you don't want that.
No, that's not my image.
Is the bringer tag dry cleanable, washable?
Yeah, it's gonna be sealed in a laminate. It's gonna be laminated and put in the tag. It's gonna be put in a, I think it's a, I wanna say it's a nylon laminate. So.
And, right?
You all set?
All right.
Thank you.
Good job.
It was nice meeting you. Have a great day.